That kind of be dope. That just sounds kind of cool. Doesn't have to make sense.
It doesn't.
Anyway, we were talking about how money, government. Oh, we forgot to add religion as well. How did we forget that? That's what I mean talking about. And shit shouldn't exist anyways. Right, and we were asked one time at the store, at a store. Anyways, we were asked, well, what would replace, I think it was money. It was either money or the grocery store system.
I'm pretty sure it's money.
Yeah, what would replace money? And I don't know. You know, I think at the time we suggested a trade system. Right, but that's like what people have also done before.
Right.
You know,
so
honestly,
we would have to really give this time and think about it, and eventually come up with something that it be suitable for the future.
Yeah. Honestly, I wanted to think about doing something that no one else has ever done. It's not anything that's in history. Right? 'Cause I don't want to revert back to a way of living. You know, I want to create a way of living that's, you know, going to survive a couple of billion years, let alone thousands.
Right. Trying to take trying to take it into the future instead of staying in the past by any means.
Yeah. Something that's going to stay alive and grow and evolve and change in hopefully the right direction.
But there are always going to be shitty people. That's the shitty truth of reality.
Yeah.
You can only hope, quote unquote, hope that the right people get in power or that the wrong people don't. You know, in whatever kind of a system we would eventually think of to further humanity.
The wrong ones getting the power, or you know, but who, you know, why should anyone be in power? That's another thing that we need to talk about and discuss.
Right.
Because
I mean, there would always be, like, I probably tried to think of multiple ways of working around that.
What?
The chain of power, the system,
So,
you know, like,
I mean,
like people doing bad things, like and things of that nature. Like,
well, see, and that's different though. I mean, people in power could still, you know, do bad things, but you're talking about what, like crime,
and then I mean crime, like that word crime.
Right.
Like crime is only whatever the government says. Oh yeah, if you're doing this, that's wrong. That's crime.
Okay,
It's the same thing with sin.
Right. Then I'll use right. Yeah. But, I'll use moral values as more of a thing than you know. Everyone's moral values are different, and they're built upon societal bounds and their own, you know, shit. You know, their own lives, their own choices, their own experiences.
All right.
So, how would a society without a, you know, authoritative force, you know, go? Right? Most people think that it would be chaos. Right? That's where the word anarchy. You know, when everyone thinks of anarchy, they think of chaos for whatever reason. Right?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. I feel like the people, right, democracy, right, or the people decide and take care of themselves, right, but they don't take care of themselves, right, they need the government's help and protection and all this shit. Right. What if we didn't? Right. What if we could take care of ourselves?
I see something truly beautiful about it, like about that idea of doing that, and then like why can't we keep the same quote unquote democracy, you know, type thing where people vote, you know, all right, the majority won, clearly. You know, and there'll be people that have these jobs. They won't be leaders of anything. You know, like they can't order you to do anything. If the people didn't decide on it, it can't happen.
Right.
You know, like that.
Right. But people get driven individually everywhere.
Exactly.
Right. With your job, right? You don't want to get fired from your job, because if you get fired from your job, then you can't pay for your house.
Right.
Right. And if you can't pay for your house, then you're going to be homeless.
Exactly.
Right? And if you're homeless, then you'll fucking die. And you'll die what? Homeless.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
but I can go in more depth. All right, hold on a second. Right, go back. Right, okay. You don't have a job, right? And then you lose your house, right? You lose your house, right? You also lose your wife, your kids, your fucking everything else. Okay.
Else. Just go into detail about each of those things.
And then after that, right? And then you find religion, right? And then your religion doesn't help you, and then you fucking and then you die.
Yeah,
no,
but,
I'm fucking around.
Yeah, but yeah, like these societal bounds that people determine their entire lives by, like, and they don't realize it, and that's always been the funniest thing about, like, to me, about gangbangers and shit like that, and people in the hood, and all of these type of people that really think they're so fucking cool and hard and shit, even when they go to jail and all of that. I'm not saying like you're like, oh yeah, I'm so cool, this and that, I'm a real nigga, all of that. Like, nobody can control you. Yet you're being controlled by the government, and yet you don't have a problem with that. Yeah, we're not gonna work together and riot against the guards. We're too busy fighting each other.
Yeah. Like, you're too busy worrying about what said someone claims or whatever, or we got beef with them and stuff.
Some other bullshit.
And they're like, okay, I get it if it's like personal reasons, right? Which most times it is because of non-personal reasons, right? It always works out that way. You're like, okay, you weren't, affiliated with it, but your cousin or brother or whoever, or homie, whatever it was, and then that person gets shot, and then now it's fucked up because they, got that person,
And you might,
and now it's a personal thing, but
people.
You weren't, it wasn't a personal thing before it.
Right. You might get affiliated with some people just because, or whatever the fuck the reason is.
Where you live, could be any sort of thing or reason.
But yeah.
Yeah, and then these people are being mind controlled and manipulated by the government, right? But they don't want to rise up against that, right?
Right.
Again, right? Consider the government your parents, right? And the foundation of the government, right? And all that shit, towards all that, right? Where the citizens were brand new, all that, they were kids, they were babies, they were just growing up, all that, and the government was just, figuring out how to be a parent, and all that shit, right? And then it starts to progress, and then it gets to this age, right? Where the citizens, the people are fully grown, we should be, right? And the government has, abandoned us, and fucking, it's just, lines of what I'm going.
I'll take a shower.
Yeah, you should probably take one soon. We'll finish up, wrap it up. But yeah, anyways, my analogy, the government has fully abandoned us, and, we are on our own, and we should rise up, right?
I mean, like if people don't realize what politicians are and presidents and shit like that, like, that's the face of the main industry, and then the main industry is trying to please its subjects, its slaves, if you will. Like they're trying to please them, so they're gonna do some, not all, of whatever that person, that face that they're putting on. Like, why do you think it's every 4 years? Like that. If they're lucky, it's 4 years, or 8 if they're lucky again. But they're giving you a face. They're giving majority of the people what they want. Like, this is how you keep people happy, and then the people that aren't, it's just like, fuck them for 4 years, and we can get to them later.
Yeah.
Usually.
That's basically how it is. I mean, you also have, a state follows most governments at all, the world even, follows money. Right? That's why we're talking about getting rid of that as well. Obviously it's a slow process, right? But they value money. Right? The state values money. So what would they, who would they most want to satisfy?
Right.
the people with money, right? The large companies, the pharmaceutical companies, the fucking
also the people without, by giving them just a little, just enough to satisfy them, but just to keep them loyal and working.
That works down. Right? First you satisfy the people, the government at least satisfies the people who are high up, who are making the laws that that benefit them, right? And then and then the government wants to help and try to benefit or think make people think that they're helping the middle class, right?
Well, you don't even gotta work in orders like that. It's like the government, the main authorities in the government, not just the president. If he could be even considered that, like, I don't know. You have the main authorities and the employees of all of that. Cops, lawyers, every other branch of the lower hanging fruit that they're able to just sacrifice whatever the fuck they want. And then you have the lower, the middle class. I mean the rich. Then you have the rich. Fuck up. Then you have the rich and all of the people that work within that, and their employees and shit. And that's where the middle class comes in, and then the lower.
Yeah. Well, you move the rich above the cops and juries and all that. Because that's really are.
Yeah, in reality. I mean, sometimes.
Most times, depending on how rich they are, depending on what kind of rich they are. Yeah. That's most times what it is, right? You see it all the time in movies where you have this, person from, across the seas, right? They have, property over there, and then they're all like, yeah, I can only step in the country for a little bit. Right. And it's like one of the richest people in the world type shit. Those people are the people who are free from fucking, the government and shit, okay? What you see it all the time also in, Star Wars and shit, where the rebels are the good guys. Why would the rebels be the good guys and the Empire the bad guys? I mean, this is another analogy that people, I'm sure, have probably, figured out by now if you've watched Star Trek. I mean, Star Wars.
But yeah, why, what does it mean to commit a crime or be a terrorist or be against the government in any way?
All right, I mean, the definition of terrorist, right, you can apply it to, the definition of terrorist is, I think, if I can say it without, looking it up real quick, is that, someone using their, position of power, on, weaker people, or civilians, or something like that. I'm pretty sure I'm close. But yeah, so cops, terrorists, like the military in some cases, terrorists, right? We also want to get into that topic as well, talking about how the fucking military are murderers as well, right? And not heroes.
They're no better than the people that cops and shit like that put in prison. Right. And how are they any different? Because they did it for a country, a noble cause. Right. So all of a sudden, having a noble cause makes it okay.
You can't have the words war and hero together. Okay, no. Okay, there can't be someone. I mean, unless they were like that one movie with fucking Andrew Garfield, right? And he's Andrew Garfield, man. He's picking up the people. He's running through the action field like fucking Forrest Gump.
Fucking Forrest Gump.
I need to watch that movie though, but I only seen the trailers. But
that movie.
As far as I know, he doesn't kill anymore. That's like the point. Unless he does at some point, then he's a murderer.
I don't even know what to say about the military and shit like that. Besides they're fucking evil monsters. They're not all of them. I'm sure. They don't start out like that, but just like the Joker has quoted, all it takes is a little push, and they fall right off the fucking deep end.
One bad day.
One bad day is all it takes.
Right, but I want to do that. Damn it. What was it for? Oh, alright. I want to do that. I want to gather all that, amount of evidence and information I can, right? Mm-hmm. If the government that has lied about, you know, a certain number of things, right? Or certain members of the government or whoever, whatever.
Right.
Right? Or if they are capable of lying about things, right? Then, you know, it should determine, you know, it should inspire people to lose trust and faith in them, right? Because that's what a lot of people, you know, like to do, right? One nation under fucking Allah. One nation under Zeus. I'm sorry. One nation under Odin. I'm sorry. One nation under Ganesh. One nation under Yahweh.
Apologies.
Apologies.
One nation under Krishna.
One nation under Satan. Fucking. No, but, yeah. Fucking. And that's such a thing, you know, people like to, you know, point out. I mean, obviously the evidence clearly, you know, goes against the fact that this, you know, America, it wasn't, you know, founded to be a Christian nation, right? It was actually, you know, opposite, you know, it was actually supposed to be what people, you know, said it was, freedom and all that, but only for a certain kind of people. And after a while, Christianity basically took over, and yeah.
I mean, it was attached to the government for a while until that stopped. Like, I forget exactly when and what movement stopped it, but I'll look into it later.
Yeah.
Also, like just to throw out a fun idea, I want to do a video about Aron Ra.
Yeah, we could do that. Iron, I want to do on Forest, maybe.
Yeah, but I want to do a video like where you're like talking kind of like a theist, like you're on the theist side, you know, but like complimenting him the entire time,
right.
You know, like you're trying to disrespect him, you know. And this guy, Aron Ra, you know, and he just pops up,
yeah.
You know, he is overly intelligent, you know, and such and such, and this and that, and he knows a lot about theism, but does he? You know,
yeah, but does he?
Like how much does this non-believer claim to know about theism?
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny.
Oh, wow.
That'd be pretty funny to do.
Yeah.
We will end it right here. So, I'm Ray. This is Ace.
I couldn't.
You want to say your name?
No, go ahead.
I'm Ray. This is Ace, and you were on A Quest for Knowledge.
I'm Ace.